Shalom, shalom, giving our praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, the GMS, the ruler, teach well in scripture, salutations to the Akim that are doing this work in truth and faith and in all sincerity. Today's lesson is going to be about the event that happened with Yemen making a speech about being joined basically to Palestine. And let me see. Give me one moment, Akim. Okay, this is one that's coming from Al Jazeera, and the headline is Yemen Houthis warns Israel of Navy attacks over Gaza blockade. Yemen Houthi fighters have given Israel a 4-day deadline to lift its blockade on food, medicine, and aid to Gaza, threatening to resume naval operations against the country otherwise. The ultimatum issued late on Friday signals a possible escalation from the rebel group after their assault tailed off in January following a ceasefire between Israel, Hamas, and Gaza. We give the entire world notice. We are granting a 4-day deadline. The group's leader, and Salakia, for butchering the name, but Abdel Malik al-Houthi, said in a video statement. And so, it further reads, this deadline is to allow for mediators to continue their efforts. If after these 4 days the Israel enemy persists in preventing the entry of aid into Gaza, maintains the complete closure of crossings, and continues to block the entry of food and medicine into Gaza, we will resume our naval operations against Israeli enemy, he said. And so, this could further escalate the situation, and the hopefully leg out there are hoping that they just go ahead and push this over the edge, because a lot of these countries are dragging their feet, little skirmishes and stuff like that. We want a full-blown massive attack. And the reason why I say that, the men of Yahweh B'Ashem Yahushai want the prophecies to play out. And the reason why is because salvation is around the corner. Okay, I can go to should be a video, I'll let that play, Lord willing.
To strike the heart of Israel. That ships linked to Tel Aviv were sunk one by one in the Red Sea, transformed into a burning battlefield, and that even Trump, behind the golden walls of his panicked silence in the face of a situation beyond his control, is deliberately keeping quiet about what you are about to hear here. This is not simply a war of demands. It is a war of dignity, faith, and honor. A war where each missile tells a truth that others want to suppress. Before diving into this heartbreaking story, take a moment to support this truth. A simple like can help this video reach more brothers. Brothers and sisters, if your heart is with the oppressed, write justice for Gaza in the comments and make your voice heard in the face of the silence of the powerful. Finally, share this video with those who seek the truth that the mainstream media refuses to show. Every action counts, every click spreads the light. A powerful missile had been launched from Yemen, crossing the scorching skies of Saudi Arabia and flying over Jordan until it reached its target in Israeli territory. This was not a simple strike, but a clear and significant message. No one was safe, even in what seemed to be an impenetrable stronghold.
This is what Ivy League universities you can get into with a 3.6 GPA.
90% is. Yet in the international media, this crucial moment went almost unnoticed, shrouded.
Salaki, Kahala Yamah, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, Shem Kakadash. All praises to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. It's 144.
In a strange silence. An invisible panic reigned behind this silence. It was no coincidence that the major news networks chose not to show the scale of this event. Because revealing this truth would mean acknowledging an inconvenient reality, that of a weakened Israel, vulnerable despite all its advanced technologies.
Now let's get one thing for the record. Okay, those so-called Palestinians over there are not the original Palestinians. The biblical Palestinians are of Hamitic nationality. Okay, they do reside in the land, yes. Are they citizens? Absolutely. Okay. Are they Palestinian nationals through the lineage of Ham? Absolutely not. Okay, so a little bit of the history that goes forth with that is the Arab Palestinians, so to speak, basically took over the land during the time of the Constantine era, if I believe myself. So they've been there for quite some time, but they haven't been there long enough to call themselves Palestinians because they share no ancestry and lineage with the sons of Ham. And so those people over there that are starving, okay, make no mistake that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is causing that stuff to happen. And a lot of this stuff that's happening to those people is what they have done to the children of Israel. Okay? And the Lord has yet to recompense the heathen nations for what they have done. Esau, Edom being on the top of the list. And among the children of Esau, Amalek sits at the top of the list because he is a head tribe of Esau, the tribe of Amalek. And a lot of these things are playing out, but not a heathen won't come close to the land of Israel once it's been built up. Okay, they have to come there and build a place up because it's going to be in shambles after the last war. And none of Israel is going to lift a finger to put any mortar together, any straw, anything that resembles structure of building a place up unless it involves spiritual powers to do so. No more physical work. No more mandatory physical work for the children of Israel. Okay, all the other heathens have to turn the world back into a paradise, and they gonna do it off their backs because they contributed to the destruction of the earth by meaning that they were never fit to rule in the first place. I digress.
In this context, the verse of the Quran resonates with particular intensity. Prepare against them all the strength you can, as well as the war horses to terrify the enemy of Allah and your enemy. A landfall 860. This passage calls for preparation and vigilance.
Now, if they had a drop of righteous blood in their body, they would get on their net on they TV or website or their sites, and they would declare to the world who the children of Israel actually are, instead of those pretending to be Israel.
Never to underestimate the determination of the oppressed. This missile is much more than a weapon. It is proof that the resistance does not weaken, that it finds ways, despite the pressure and superior military means of the adversary, to strike at the very heart of power. Israel, which prides itself on possessing one of the most sophisticated anti-missile defense systems in the world, seems to be wavering in the face of this unexpected attack. It is not only technology that makes strength, but the will of a people driven by a deep faith, ready to confront what it considers an injustice. This strike symbolizes an upheaval in the region. A message that the status quo can no longer last and that those who believe themselves to be untouchable must now face a new reality where every action provokes an unpredictable and determined reaction. In this theater of tension, this missile marked a turning point. It reminds us that military force does not guarantee peace or stability, especially when it is perceived as oppression. Behind every
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 8. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, and the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. And so there's only one nation in the world that's the most proud, and that's Edomites, the so-called white man, so self-proclaimed so-called white man. He is an epitome of pride.
explosion, there are stories of resistance, courage, and faith that fuel this fight that is bigger than just geopolitics. This missile shook not only Israeli soil, but also the certainties of a world that believed it had the conflict under control. The winds of change are blowing strong, and those who stand for truth will not back down. A few days after the strike from Yemen, Israel retaliated with tenfold force. Operation Black Flag deployed an impressive air force that cut through the skies toward Yemen. Lightning-fast stealth bombers targeted several strategic points. The Hodeidah Gates, an ISA race, as well as crucial facilities such as power plants and logistics depots. These locations were not chosen at random. They represented vital arteries allowing the transport of weapons, according to Israeli statements, supposedly coming from Iran to support the organizations in their fight. This official justification, while not yet fully verified by independent bodies, serves as a pretext to strike hard at its positions. In
Damn
the sky,
commercial.
the tension is palpable. Israeli fighter jets roar, casting menacing shadows over Yemeni soil. Explosions ring out, tearing the silence apart, lighting up the night with dancing flames that set the targeted infrastructure ablaze. The inhabitants, caught in the heart of this conflict, watch with fear mixed with hope. Each explosion is a brutal reminder that war is far from being a power play, but a reality that disrupts lives, shakes families, and transforms lands into desolation. In the face of this violence, a spiritual message guides us. The Quran teaches patience in the face of aggression. You who believe, seek help in patience and prayer, for Allah is with the patient. Al-Baqarah 253. These were
Okay. You know, the point is made. If not, the point is the people in the land have no business in the land. And this last war is going to make sure every single non-Israelite will not inhabit the land. And so I close out there giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, Bahashem Kadash. Again, double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS, the guru and teach world inscription, salutations to Akim as we move closer to these last days. Shalom.